Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into today's second video. We're going to have a look at the weather for 14 days. So today's second video, day 10, will take us to the 13th of July, and we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the excellent GFS and ECM ensembles. Maybe on track a couple of weeks. We'll have a look at CFS V2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks. Gets us to the end of July, and I should get on that for you in a moment. Just to say that the first video release was our 6-7 UK weather forecast. Please like, share, subscribe on all of today's videos and content, and thank you so much everybody for doing that. For GavsWeatherVids, thank you so much everyone. Right, we're going to start off with the situation in the Tropical Atlantic, Caribbean, etc, etc. So we have got a yellow X just here. Hold on, let me put your foot up. Ow. There we go. No, we've got a yellow X just here, which is disturbance 1 with just a 20% chance of cyclone formation in the next 7 days. But all eyes are on Hurricane Beryl, of course, just here. So Beryl has weakened, still a ferocious hurricane, but Beryl has weakened from a Category 5 to Category 4 hurricane, now giving maximum sustained winds of 145 miles per hour. Clicking on Beryl and going here, we can see that Jamaica is going to get a big old hit from Beryl imminently. So Beryl's just off the coast of Jamaica, will be moving into Jamaica in the next few hours, if it hasn't yet already done so, and then carrying on towards Mexico, weakening down to a hurricane, and then becoming a tropical storm over hurricane before powering back up to a hurricane again in the Gulf of Mexico, and then giving another hit to Mexico as a tropical storm by the beginning of next week. Just there. Let's have a look at the wind gusts with this. Where am I going? I'm going up here, aren't I? So, yes, we see currently Category 4 hurricane Beryl in 24 hours time weakening down to Category 2 hurricane, and then in 2 days weakening down further and heading down towards a Category 1 status, and then becoming a tropical storm before going back to a Category 1 hurricane in 90 hours before back to a tropical storm again as it moves back into Mexico. Key points are that we are seeing devastating hurricane force winds, life-threatening storm surge and damaging waves expected in portions of Jamaica beginning this afternoon and in the Cayman Islands early on Thursday. Residents in these areas should listen to local government and emergency management officials for preparedness and or evacuation orders. Life-threatening flash flooding and mudslides from heavy rainfall are expected over much of Jamaica and southern Haiti through today. Beryl is forecast to remain a hurricane when it approaches the Yucatan Peninsula and Belize, I should say, late Thursday, where hurricane tropical storm watches have been issued. There remains uncertainty in the track and intensity forecast of Beryl over the western Gulf of Mexico this weekend. Interests in the western Gulf should monitor progress of Beryl. So I don't think they're ruling out that Beryl might power up again as she moves back out into the Gulf of Mexico. So Beryl becomes a tropical storm, weakens to like Category 2 and 1 hurricane through here, becomes a tropical storm through here, but then I don't think, reading between the lines, they're ruling out that Beryl might power up moving through this southern portion of the Gulf of Mexico, southwestern portion of the Gulf of Mexico later in the weekend and through next week, and moving on to this coast just here. It was not all that far away from Texas as well, so I would imagine like southeastern parts of the state of Texas will be monitoring this very, very closely. If you're in the path of Beryl, particularly if you're watching this from Jamaica, Cayman Islands, etc., then do take care, heed the warnings from your National Weather Service and government agency, and just look at yourself. This is a life-threatening situation. Right, central temperature, coming back home, central temperature is now down to 14 degrees, 14.0. That is 2 degrees below the 61 to 1990 average provisional to the 2nd of July. Very cool start to July. And set to stay that way for the next week as well. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. We see the red line is 30-year upper air temperature average for Coventry, and for the next week the upper air temperatures are running cooler and below average. As we go into the second week of July, and then through the middle part up to the second half of the month, see the upper air temperatures returning back close to average. So there is a bit of a recovery in the upper air temperatures taking place there for the second week of July, albeit not much to get excited about from a hot perspective. But look at the precipitation spikes. These are incrementally increasing with the GFS ensembles day by day. So have got some showery rain to come at the moment. It could be more wet weather on Friday, but a bit drier, well, showery, but drier for the south and east anyway, over the weekend. But into next week, actually looking really quite wet, especially through the middle and second half of next week. This window just here looking very, very wet. And then to the second half of July, quite unsettled there as well. So overall, you look at that ensemble graph, and although the temperatures are beginning to recover a bit through the second week of July, it does look as though the price we pay for that is an increase in precipitation. We might be heading for quite a wet spell, actually. For the time being, though, it remains cool, so temperature anomalies from the 3rd to 11th of July are below average, not just for the UK, but through most parts of Europe. And precipitation anomalies from the 3rd to the 11th of July coming out wetter than average for England and Wales, a little bit wetter average for Scotland, but drier than average for parts of Ireland. The latest winter map from earth.nullschool.net shows that low pressure is in control today, sitting between Iceland and Scotland, bringing in this westerly flow, and there's a weather system pushing through the country as well. Okay, should we have a quick look at Beryl again? We did this yesterday, but why not have a quick look? So there she is. Zoom in. And there is now Category 4 Hurricane Beryl. These charts all from Earth Law School. Always look spectacular when there's like a hurricane, major storm and disturbance going on. So beautiful looking eye there from Hurricane Beryl. Goodness gracious me, imagine being in the path of that. Alright, let's have a look at some chart data. Remember, the latest UK bet Euro run is looking for midnight on Saturday. Low pressure zipping through, bringing wet weather to parts of England, Wales, running into Saturday. Into a week carrying to a showery westerly flow, but then low pressure comes meandering in through the early to middle part of next week. That will bring further outbreaks of rain across the country through to the middle of next week, and still pretty coolish temperatures, I think, as well. I can't, again, that low pressure clearing off into the North Sea on Saturday, leaving us with showering westerly winds for the remainder of the weekend, and then on into next week, low pressure again meandering through the country with further showery bursts in some places, trying perhaps to get a bit of a ridge going with Icon by Wednesday, but there is more low pressure out of the Atlantic, and it is all looking quite flimsy. KMA, again, with low pressure clearing into the North Sea on Saturday, leaving us with a showery westerly flow. Then into the early part of next week, we're trying to raise heights a bit to the east, but low pressure never far away. And as we head through next week in towards the middle of July, we remain dominated by low pressure, so cool and unsettled there with the KMA. Oh dear, this time the GFS midnight run is looking again rather showery on Saturday and Sunday. Winds in from west-northwest, so will be quite cool as well. Into next week, there is a bit of an attempt to raise the heights over to east of the country, but low pressure remains to the west. As we go through next week, actually, we bring up this low, has a bit of a fungy look about it, into the second half of next week. Becomes quite a significant feature of that low. Will bring lots of heavy rain with it, and goodness gracious me, into the weekend of the 13th and the 14th, so we remain dominated by low pressure. That gets out of the way, but we have got more low pressure in the Atlantic, so another one comes in. We get through to around the 15th, 16th of July, and on it goes. We end up looking like that with like a west-northwesterly flow. Perhaps a bit drier, but still quite mixed. This is how the GavsWeatherVids said looks in comparison. Again, we're looking at shallow areas of low pressure moving in to the early part of next week. They'll be bringing further wet weather with them. Then the second half of next week brings some more significant low in from the Atlantic. That would have lots of heavy showers and longer spells of rain in with it too. Beyond that, we go into like a westerly flow, but still dominated by low pressure. So all the way up to the 19th of July remains mixed and unsettled. No sign of summer there. If you enjoyed the video, please do like, share, subscribe. It shows you everyone for doing that. Drop a comment, let us know what you think about this and all of our videos and content. Don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids. Get them to subscribe to, and we thank you so much for doing that. GM, again, with low pressure dominating on Saturday and in Sunday, but another low coming in for the Atlantic, Monday through Tuesday. That will bring spells of rain in with it. We start to have a bit warmer second half of next week. Wind begins to shift round to the south. But still looks rather showery, I have to say. We're not really raising pressure very strongly, but probably more settled, actually, and a bit warmer through the second half next week with the GM compared to anything else that we've seen so far. And then what about the ECM? Well, that has low pressure dominating across the country Friday into Saturday. Beryl into a showery westerly winds through Sunday. More low pressure pushing up from the southwest Monday to Tuesday, being wet weather in with it. Raising the heights a bit through Wednesday and Thursday, starting to turn a bit warmer from the south as well, but then mist low comes meandering in through the last stage of next week. Could bring some thunder, but will almost certainly bring some rain. And by daytime, we're back into that westerly flow, which is cooler and will bring showers or longer spells of rain as well. This is a precipitation forecast based on the ECM run from TibetShow.com. This is tomorrow's wet weather, Friday's wet weather, I should say, looking potentially very wet across parts of England and Wales, Friday through to Saturday. Showery for Saturday and then Sunday, and then more wet weather coming up from the southwest as we go into the beginning of next week, and that particularly focus on England, Wales, for quite a soaking. So much needed useful rain for the gardens in the south and the southeast. Beyond that, a little bit dry around the middle part of the week, but it's not long before further heavy showers, possibly thundery nature, comes heading in from off the Atlantic. This is the option on the table within the ECM ensemble today for day 10. The Icelandic Met Office gets us to the 13th of July, 51 out of 51 members of the ECM ensembles, all of them with some higher pressure to the north, probably some sort of trough down here, keeping things at the very least pretty showery. And then in 2 weeks' time, this is the option that we got. It gets us to the 18th of July, 51 members of the ECM ensembles, again, all of them with higher pressure just to the south, but some sort of shallow low pressure in the Atlantic. So that could still be a little bit showery, but especially for the north, but could be a little bit drier though down in the south. CFS V2 finally, these are 500 millibar height scenarios breaking down to week periods. The first week period takes us from the 3rd to the 9th of July, but next week dominated by low pressure, so we'll be quite cool and unsettled. Week 2 sees a change and makes more of a high pressure than like shorter range models are doing, except maybe the gem. It's from the 10th to the 16th of July, with higher pressure building just to the east of the country, low pressure out to west. That would turn the wind into a much warmer southerly and would be drier as well. We're not seeing much sign of that being a shorter range model output, I have to say, but nevertheless it's an option. It's a possibility. Week 3, I should say, the 17th to 23rd of July, high pressure setting over anti-east country, low pressure out in the Atlantic, winds coming up from southwesterly direction. Could be a bit showery for the north, should be mostly dry and potentially very warm in the south. And then week 4 will be the 24th to the 30th of July, high pressure just to the east of the country, low pressure way to the northwest. Again, that should be very warm, maybe quite hot, and mostly dry. Not sure about that from the CFS. It looks very different, I have to say, to the trends we see in the shorter range. But, you know, maybe the CFS is on to something there, and that we will finish up with a mostly dry and hot July. I've got my doubts, but maybe. We'll see. Anyway, we're done. If you've enjoyed the video, please like, share, subscribe, and show everyone for doing that. Why not drop a comment and say anything about this and all of our videos and content. And don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids. Get them to subscribe too. Thank you so much, everyone, for doing that. Right, tomorrow, we've got 6 a.m. UK weather forecast. We will have the shorter but detailed European outlook. It's back after weeks. No, I should get that done tomorrow. And there'll be a 10 to 14 day as well. You enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, though. And for this one, that's all for now. And thanks for watching. Bye for now.